3 years ago, I used to have a horrible relationship with food. I'd be sitting in my bed until 11 p.m., empty bag of Cool Ranch Doritos, empty box of frosted cookies, and feeling like absolute shit. And food was constantly on my mind. And I didn't understand the one thing that was hijacking my brain. Once I learned it, I haven't binged since. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to stop binging once and for all and improve your relationship with food. So what actually is binge eating? It's when your brain, body, and emotions are teaming up to make you feel completely out of control and make you eat a ton of food. And then afterwards, it's that shame, that guilt. At least that's what it was for me. Here's the thing that most people don't understand. It has nothing to do with your willpower. It's all about your brain's wiring and more specifically, your dopamine. And once you understand how this piece works, you can work backwards to solve this. The real question isn't why do I binge? The question is what's triggering your brain to want to binge in the first place? Because here's the thing is that when you anticipate food, the chips, the cookies, the pizza, your brain lights up like a Christmas tree. You're imagining the smell, the taste, the crunch. And this is what creates that massive desire. And the crazy part is that your brain actually releases more dopamine wanting the food than when you're actually eating it. So your brain is screaming, please, 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 I need this. And then you eat it and that's just a relief, a temporary solution. But that only lasts a few minutes. And then the cravings come back even stronger. And that's where this dangerous cycle starts. Because your brain learns, oh, I feel bad. I should eat. Then I'll feel better. And repeat. And the more you repeat it, the more you're creating this habit, this link in your brain. It's like carving a groove in your brain. So eventually you're at the pantry and you didn't even consciously decide to go there. It's just something that happens automatically. That's not weakness. That's just your brain being trained to do exactly what it's been trained to do. But here's the thing is that you are not binging randomly. Something is triggering you for it to happen every single time. For me, it was loneliness. I moved to a new city. I was completely alone. On some weekends, social media would make it way worse. I'd see people living their highlight reels, having the time of their lives, and I'm in my room thinking, holy shit, my life sucks. And I felt super lonely. Guess what happened? I'd go across the street to the grocery store. I'd buy a family-sized bag of Cool Ranch Doritos and frosted sugar cookies. And then I would eat them watching K-drama in my bed until I fell asleep to make myself feel better for this loneliness. And after this happened time and time again, I realized that that was my trigger. If you can identify your triggers, you can disarm them. Because binge eating is essentially a formula. You have your trigger, and then that leads to you binging. If you want to stop binging, you just have to eliminate the trigger. For me, it was loneliness. I get lonely, boom, let's eat Cool Ranch Doritos and cookies. Now I'm a little happier for a little bit. For you, it might be stress at work, boredom, anxiety. Whatever it is, you need to figure it out. How you figure that out is the next time that you do binge, become aware, don't beat yourself up, ask, what was the main emotion that I was feeling right before this happened? Write it down. And after a week or two, you're gonna start seeing patterns. You're gonna start seeing, it was actually boredom, it was anxiety. You're gonna start to see. And the next level after that is, what caused that boredom? What led to that anxiety? You can keep working backwards. Once you keep working backwards, you're eventually going to get to the root of the cause and eliminate everything on the first side of the formula so that you don't even binge. The second thing you need to understand is when you feel a negative emotion, your brain has a story that it's telling itself. It thinks that when I feel this emotion, eating food is going to make this emotion go away. The story that I was telling myself was, I'm lonely. Cool Ranch Doritos will fix this. Because I did this over and over again, it created this link in my brain. Whenever I feel this way, chips help. Then you create this loop. Your brain is literally wiring itself to associate these negative emotions with food. And the more you do it, the stronger that association becomes. Until eventually, you don't even think about it, you're automatically reaching for food where you feel bad. The even more dangerous part is that your brain wants to feel happy. If food is going to make you happy, what is your brain thinking? I want to be happy. I know that food makes me happy. How do I get me to eat more food? I know that if Ryan gets lonely, he'll eat food, and food will make me happy. I have to make Ryan lonely. And now your brain is unconsciously finding ways to trigger that emotion for you that it can eat the food to be happy. And that's what makes it an even more destructive loop. Identify that story that you're telling yourself so that you don't put yourself in that loop. And the third thing is that restrictive diets make it way worse because they put you in this all or nothing mindset. That's what happened to me. I'd go on some crazy restrictive diet, no cookies, no Oreos, no fun. And then one day I would eat this small cookie. And my brain would immediately think, we broke the diet, I already fucked up, I might as well eat 30. And that's exactly what I would do. And that's what will cause my binge. The better approach is to incorporate the foods that you love into your diet. If you really love Oreos, say, okay, Tuesday I'm gonna eat 2 Oreos. And enjoy it and move on. Because when you stop restricting, you stop creating that all or nothing mindset. And that is going to stop binging. The best piece of advice that I could give you is to get rid of the highly processed foods from your house. The Oreos, the Doritos, the chips, the cookies. They are engineered to be addictive. Think about it. How do these chip companies make money? When you buy their product. How can they get you to buy their products more? You have to eat more of it. They make it as addictive as possible. They want you to be overweight. They want you to be unhealthy. How do they do that? They combine sugar, fat, salt, and put it all into this magic chip so that it makes your brain go, yeah. And that's why you can't eat one. It's by design. The step-by-step system to break free from binging once and for all, identify your triggers. Write them down every time you're gonna understand and find patterns. What happened? What were you feeling? And the second is break the association. Your brain has created this certain story that is telling itself that the negative emotion equals food. We need to teach the brain something new. And this negative emotion has to equal something else. So whenever you feel lonely, anxiety, pair that with a different solution, going for a walk or calling a friend. Maybe you journal. Do something new to pair something positive with that negative emotion so your brain can create that new association. The third thing is stop restricting. So if you love cookies, find a way to incorporate that in your diet in a controlled way so that you don't go into this all or nothing mindset. And remove the highly processed foods from your house because the number one battle that you can win is at the grocery store. Because if you can win at the grocery store, then you won't bring it back to your house and you won't have to say no to it every single time. It's a lot easier to say no because it's not even there. And at the end of the day, food is not the problem, it's just the symptom. The problem is these emotions, the stories that you're trying to avoid, the stories that you're trying to tell yourself. Until you address these things, you're always going to be fighting an uphill battle. And I didn't realize that until I spiraled and got way too out of control. I realized that chips and cookies weren't going to be the answer, so I started going out to events, reaching out to people, going on more walks, journaling, and that's what allowed me to stop using food as a coping mechanism and stop binging once and for all. The last thing I would say is if you binge, do not beat yourself up. Don't say I'm a failure. Don't skip your next meal. Don't overdo the cardio or the exercise. Just move on, be like a goldfish, 10-second memory, you forget and move on. You're not even thinking about it. The more you think about it, the more you're gonna generate these negative emotions. And what is gonna happen? The worst thing you can do then is spiral into this guilt and shame because that is just what is going to get you back into that cycle and binge all over again. Be kind to yourself. This is a process, and like any skill, it takes time to develop. It's not gonna happen overnight, it will happen, and I promise you, if you keep at it, there is so much freedom, so many amazing things on the other side. and you deserve that. But here's the problem. Everything I showed you falls apart if you're constantly hungry and craving food all day long, and when you're starving, your willpower disappears, your triggers don't matter, you're just gonna eat. In my next video, I'm gonna break down the exact high volume meals that I use to stay full and satisfied all day without feeling restricted. And these are the meals that let me eat in huge portions, hit my protein, and feel like I'm never dieting. Click this video if you're interested, and I'll see you right there.